Things are getting bad for Star Wars. And I don't mean traditional bad. This isn't just people griping and complaining about what's going on, or what's gone on. This has become total silence and apathy. From Lucasfilm's perspective, gone are the constant press releases, especially involving more than just a quote from somebody involved in the project. Fewer and fewer screenshots showing a lot of insecurity from Lucasfilm. Let's take, for example, The Acolyte. Pretty much all we've gotten from The Acolyte is quotes from Leslie Headland, the showrunner. We haven't really gotten anything. And you compare that to things like The Mandalorian or the sequel trilogy, and there's just nothing being shown. And it feels like Lucasfilm is scared to show things. But they really shouldn't be. Because if they were doing what fans really wanted, then they would be confident in what they were showing. Right now, less than 1% of Americans are even watching Star Wars shows. Think about that. Star Wars. Arguably, when it was purchased by Disney, the biggest, most popular IP, certainly in the United States. It wasn't even just popular, it was cultural. It shaped American culture in a lot of ways.
I'm Luke Skywalker, I'm here to rescue you.
But I guess we can't have heroes anymore. I guess the culture that they're trying to shape is different now. The only difference is they don't have any influence anymore. When only 1% are watching, whatever changes Disney Lucasfilm was trying to do to the culture isn't really working because no one cares. They should have thought about that. What's really amazing about the fact that less than 1% of Americans are even watching Star Wars shows is a show about Wednesday Addams has 10 times the viewership as Ahsoka. Think about that. Ahsoka, a once beloved character, Ahsoka who probably has more screen time than any character in the history of Star Wars now. And Wednesday Addams? No offense to the Addams family, it's a fun idea, fun movies. But as I said in another video, go back and see how much money the Addams Family movies made compared to the Star Wars movies. And think about how big of a decline when a Wednesday Addams TV show gets 10 times the viewership of a Star Wars show. It's getting so bad, even Star Wars Theory has lost all hope.
You wonder why Star Wars is in such a state where no one is interested anymore. Nobody gives a crap.
And this guy is Mr. Optimistic. The next thing will always be good, he says. He even initially found positives in things like The Last Jedi, which is really, really divisive film and set up Solo to be a complete failure 6 months later and lost a ton of money because people were so angry about The Last Jedi. But Star Wars Theory tried and found some positives in there. He's always been that guy. You know, as down and crummy as you'd think Star Wars is, you'd go to one of his videos and you'd be like, you know what, maybe it's not as bad as I thought it was. But no, it always was, and he's realizing that. He's finally realizing that the hope is lost. And for him to lose hope, that's bad. On social media, there are still some people posting positively about Star Wars, but far fewer than even a year ago. But something very telling is the level of apathy and silence on the other side. People aren't even complaining anymore. You think back to the prequels and all those grown men that were super mad about what George Lucas did. But at least they were complaining out of caring. Because if they didn't care, they just wouldn't say anything. So now people aren't even complaining. They just aren't posting about Star Wars at all. And again, when people complained in the past, it was at least a sign they still cared. At least they cared enough to complain. But they don't even do that anymore. And the silence is deafening. So one wonders, where does this go? Well, they just keep doing what they're doing and play the break-even game or the money-loss game or whatever it is. All signs point to yes. The people at Lucasfilm don't seem to see any problem with the direction they are taking things. Doubling down over and over again with mediocre to bad writing, lazy acting, and many times sets and CGI that look cheap and thrown together. Tatooine's use by Disney is a microcosm of Lucasfilm's current Star Wars. A once rare and interesting place full of scum, villainy, scavengers, and intrigue, to now an overused, boring, lifeless setting that feels more like work than enjoyment to explore and experience.